Hi, my name is Paige Toishi, and I am here presenting our paper, Read the Room, Adapting a Robot's Voice to Ambient and Social Contexts. So what exactly is wrong with robot voices? Humans will naturally adjust their voice to ambient and social contexts. And they'll always make an effort to be clearly heard.
But robots still don't know how to adapt their voices to their ambient context.
So with this in mind, we implement a novel protocol for collecting realistic contextual audio voice data. We assign robot voices to different ambient contexts by investigating and clustering human vocal features, and we assess human perception of robot voices to better understand what's considered appropriate in different ambient settings. We collected our data with a novel Zoom protocol. We had 2 participants change their Zoom background and listen to the same ambient sounds in their headphones when acting out a scenario as a waiter and a restaurant goer. There were 6 ambiances: fine dining, cafe, lively restaurant, quiet bar, noisy bar, and a nightclub. We then had 12 participants validate these voices to be sure that they indeed appeared to be aware of the ambient and social context, and we extracted the following features: loudness, spectral, and rate of speech features for analysis. Mapping out the extracted vocal features, it appears that the low volume ambiances have a much more similar pattern than we see in our loud ambiances. And from this, we figured that maybe loudness is not the only defining factor for voice adaptation in ambiances. We then used k-means clustering and found that there appeared to be 3 distinct vocal patterns, which we call neutral voice in green, with relatively low levels of all features aside from spectral slope, a loud and high energy voice in blue, and a third voice that's very high pitch with relatively low pitch range, indicative of Lombard voice. We can look at the bar graph to see in which ambiances these voices most often occurred, and we indeed see that the neutral voice is occurring most often in quiet ambiances, but we see a split in the high volume ambiances, where the energetic voice appears to be in the bright, high energy ambiances, and the Lombard voice appears to be in the ambiance where the loudness is a primary quality, like the nightclub. From this, we selected 3 voices to represent these clusters: Pepper's built-in neutral and joyful voices, and a third voice that was Pepper's didactic voice with its lower pitch range, and an adjusted pitch to match that of the Lombard cluster. We then had participants come into our virtual ambiances and converse with Pepper, and it went a little bit like this.
Hi there, I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a chance to look at the menu. Anyways, what can I start you off with? We have had a chance to look at the menu. I thought I would let you know. Today we have food that are special. Anyways, what can I start you off with? Hi there. I hope you have had a chance to look at the menu. I thought I would let you know. Today we have food that are special. Anyways, what can I start you off with?
We had 120 participants, and we asked questions to both explore the appropriateness of the voice and to validate the virtual ambiance. We found that the virtual ambiances created a suitable setting for each of our 6 desired restaurants. Looking at the significant results of the preference tests, where at the end of an ambiance, our participants were asked which of the 3 voices was their preferred server, we saw that in the fine dining restaurant and the quiet bar, the Lombard voice was least often selected as the first choice. Whereas in the lively restaurant and the nightclub, it was the neutral voice that was least often the first choice. We also see that the lively restaurant, the joyful voice, was least often chosen as the last choice. When looking to the Likert ratings, we see that in the fine dining restaurant, the neutral voice was significantly more socially and ambient aware. Yet in the lively restaurant and the noisy bar and nightclub, the joyful voice was found to be the most socially and ambient appropriate. We also found that the joyful voice displayed significantly more comfort, human likeness, and competency for the nightclub and competency for the noisy bar. Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoy reading our paper. To listen to our voices and see some of our setup, you can scan this QR code here.